Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have Khari Lemuel today as our special guest for the Green Members Only Show. So I'm very, very excited to have you here, Khari. Thank you so much for joining us. So my very first question is always your name. Where did your name Khari Lemuel come from?
Actually, first of all, thank you, Crystal. It's a huge honor and pleasure to be with you tonight. So I'm super excited too. Khari is my birth name, given name. Lemuel is my middle name, is the name of my grandfather. So that's where the name came from. Khari Lemuel and Khari. I think it's Kiswahili, somewhere from West Africa. And the name is kingly, and Lemuel is in the Bible. Proverbs 31. It's about the virtuous woman.
Wow, so we have a little something in common. My name that's my first and middle name, Crystal June. Yeah. Fun fact, right? So we have something in common. So one thing that I know about you that was so crazy to find out is that you're not new to this, you're true to this. You've been doing music since you were young, right? When did you get started doing music, and what type of music do you do?
Okay, I started playing the cello when I was 3.5. And I did all the formal music conservatory. Spent a couple summers in Interlochen Music Conservatory, and then did merit music program here in Chicago, Vanderbilt College of Music for 5 years, and then toured and recorded and did my own stuff. So, and I do now. I mean, in the beginning, it was kind of like, it was always just like whatever was inspiring to me. I had a lot of formal training with the classical music, so there was elements of classical music in my stuff, but definitely always soul, sometimes reggae, somewhere in the mix of gospel, like Reverend Clay Evans and the Winans, all the way to Frankie Beverly and D'Angelo and stuff. So something around in there.
So, how did you wind up on Oprah? Because I remember seeing a clip of you as a little kid on the Oprah show. How did that wind up coming about?
Yeah, there was a writing contest at the High Park Bank, and I wrote a essay, and at the end of it, there was a recipe for a good neighborhood. And it was kind of like the hook of the song, you know what I mean? Anyway, I didn't win. I think I won maybe like an honorable mention or 3rd place or something. But all the winners got to go to Harpo Studios. So we took a tour, and at the end of the tour, Oprah came to meet everyone. And all kind of children were very, I guess, shy. And I wasn't shy, I was talking to Oprah, and she was like, who is this kid? You know what I'm saying? So then the TV producers called my mother, like a few months later, and it's like, Oprah wants to have him on the show. So.
Wow. That's pretty cool. So did that kind of, were you doing music at that time? Did it help boost your career in any way, or?
No, that was all church right there. My dad was a pastor, preacher, and that example of public speaking and the feeling of being an authority or being able to walk in authority, the whole concept of boldly coming to the throne of grace, and I just, you get that kind of training in church and they teach you how to speak and all that. So I think that was all church. And now the focus is more, and the feeling is more about just being happy and joyful and sharing that a little bit each day.
So, question. I've noticed that your music has changed, the frequency in the music, and because we know that sound creates all different types of energy. So I've noticed that your music has changed. Is that intentional?
Yeah, I have to give thanks to the ancestors, and my father in particular, and my mother. I have always been a spiritual person, and maybe even a religious person. But in your youth, there's a lot of things that you don't know, and I think one of the first things that I asked God for when I was 20-ish is I want to be rich and I want to have a lot of money. How many people can say that? Everybody said that, right? We all say that we want to have a lot of money. But, reflecting on my life, I realized that if I would have gained what I asked for, then I probably would have done something very foolish or destroyed myself, and I can appreciate the foresight of the universe in withholding and allowing me to experience life. So when you talk about my music changing, it's because I have lived and I have learned, and somewhere along the way I got into this whole thing about near-death experiences and people who leave their body and go to the other side sometimes are sent back with messages from the other side about what's life about and what's important. And one of the things that is really important is this parable of ripples. It's like you take a pebble and you drop it in water and it ripples out. And every thought is like that, and every action is like that. So when I listened to these people who were giving their account of their near-death experience, talk about their life review and how they realized that everything that they did, small and great, had a ripple effect throughout of the universe, I started to use that as a template for the idea of what I really want to do in my life. And that is to try to amplify the power of the act of loving consciously. So my music had to meet that frequency.
I love that. And this is the Green Members Only Show, right? And green means love, right?
What's up?
That's the color of the heart chakra all day long. Yes. So tap in to Khari Lemuel, and thank you again so much for taking some time out to bless us with your presence and a little bit about your story.